That's all I'm going to put a chair.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is Tracy with the Louisa County Chamber of Commerce. I want to welcome you all to a resource Zoom for ServSafe. We're excited to have you. It is right at 1 o'clock and we're starting right on time. I am recording this Zoom for anyone that was unable to join us live, so they will get the recording as long as they registered in advance. I do have everyone muted at this moment. I just want to kind of give the layout of how we're going to do this. This is meant to be an interactive opportunity for you to ask questions and get answers that you might need. Before we get started with our special guests, I do want to take a minute to give each of you an opportunity to introduce yourself and share what your business name or organization might be where you're joining us from. And I'm just going to go right down the list of participants. I will unmute you and then mute you back after you introduce yourself. And then I'll go on to the next person so that we don't have a lot of overlap. So I'm just going to go by order of my screen, starting at the top right. And plus, it is your birthday. I'm going to start with you. So, Tammy, I'm trying to unmute you. And did you hit mute on your end, Tammy?
I did.
All right, go ahead, Tammy. Introduce yourself.
Okay. I'm Tammy Boxley, owner of Out of the Box Personal Chef and Catering Company. Yeah.
Welcome, Tammy. Thanks for being here. Okay.
Could you let us also know where your business is located, please?
I'm in Bumpus, by the lake.
Perfect. All right, you're next.
Did you say me? I'm sorry.
Yes,
My name's Seth Goulston. I'm with the historic Jefferson Hotel in Richmond, Virginia.
Wonderful. Thanks for joining us. Okay, now I don't have a name. It's an iPhone, and you're in a green shirt that looks like it says Tillmore on it. You want to unmute yourself?
Hi, that's me. My name's Lisa O'Neill. I'm from Penny Lane Pub, downtown Richmond.
Wonderful. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for doing this.
All right, and now we have Tony.
Hi, yes. My name's Tony, and I am from 53rd Winery and Vineyard in Louisa County, Virginia. And Sheila was also on the list, and she is having problems with her iPad, so she's here. We're working today, too, so we're answering phone calls, and she's going to be in and out behind me.
Great. Welcome, Tony. All right, looks like we have Joseph Lewis. You need to unmute yourself. There we go.
Hey, hello, folks. My name is Joe Lewis. I'm here in Henrico, Virginia, and I own J&T Meal Prep.
Wonderful, welcome. Okay, and now we have, looks like Quillen Musgrave. Hopefully I said that right. You need to unmute yourself.
Hi, good morning or afternoon, everybody. Yeah, my name is Quillen Musgrave, and I own Harrison Street Cafe, a small vegan vegetarian restaurant down in Richmond, Virginia, near VCU's campus.
Wonderful, welcome. All right, and now we have Debbie. You want to introduce yourself, Debbie?
Sure. My name is Debbie Willett, and I'm a co-owner of Obrigado Restaurant and Susie's Pie Shop in Louisa, Virginia.
Welcome, Debbie. Glad you're here. All right, and then we have Archie Campbell. You need to unmute yourself.
Yeah, my name is Archer Campbell. I teach ServSafe at the community college in Charlottesville, and I'm just real curious how this is playing because my management may want to do it through the community college because we offer ServSafe there. But thanks for doing this, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Wonderful. Thanks, Archer. Okay, and now we have someone that's dialing in. The phone number is 540-894-4343. Want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, Tammy, this is Mike Cavros from Calliope's Orchard Restaurant at Lake Anna. I'm working on getting the software downloaded to do the screen, but wanted to at least catch the audio while I'm doing that.
Perfect. Welcome, Mike. Glad you're here. All right, let me see if who I may have missed on the introductions besides our special guests. Okay, it looks like we did introduction for everyone. So I've got everyone's lines muted. I wanted to give you the kind of the ground rules. I'm going to be quiet after I introduce our special guest, Lisa, and she's going to introduce Janelle, our other special guest. Today's resource call really is that. It's designed to be an opportunity for you to ask questions related to ServSafe. This isn't necessarily a training about ServSafe, but it is an opportunity to get up to speed on changes and things like that. And Lisa is a great resource in this. She's done training for us here in Louisa. She runs RVA Ag, which is a fabulous program that provides multiple farmers markets. She was the first to launch online farmers markets, which is going really, really well. And she's got her own kitchen.
Commissary, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. And she's just wonderful, great resource for everyone. So thank you, Lisa, for being here. And I'm going to let you introduce Janelle, but I'm thankful to have you as well. So muting myself and going to let you take it away, Lisa dear.
Okay. Thank you all for taking some time. As a ServSafe instructor and a proctor, I can tell you that I'm just as frustrated as you are not to be able to reopen and be able to continue business as usual. I've had to postpone one of my ServSafe classes 3 times now. So I know it's frustrating for the people in the classes, and it's been frustrating for me because nobody's making any money and nobody can get to work. So as we move forward into phase 1 and reopening, however that looks for you, wanted to just share some resources with you and introduce Janelle Rogers, who is the Senior Environmental Health Specialist with the Chickahominy Health District for the Department of Health here in Virginia. She's my health inspector that I work with pretty much on a weekly basis, I'd say. We do run a commissary kitchen, and we're inspected by the Department of Health, and I've been a ServSafe instructor for 4 years. So what do you have to do to open safely? There are some resources for you on ServSafe.com, and I will put the links in the chat, and we'll make this recording, we'll send it back out to you so that you have access to the links. Probably put some other links in there too that I haven't thought of before, along with Janelle. She has sent out to me as one of her contacts that she inspects some really great information, and I'd like her to be able to share that with everyone in case you guys did not get that information. So just maybe you can use the show of hands down there. There's a little reaction button at the bottom of Zoom. If you can, like, maybe raise your hand if you have already taken any of the free resource video guides on ServSafe.com that have been available during COVID. Has anybody done that so far? I see Tammy has. I'm going to go ahead and Tammy or Tracy, if you want to let me go, I can share my screen here. I'm going to go back to, there we go. So on the ServSafe, that's ServSafe.com. I'm going to put this link in the chat session. There are some free food safety and career development training resources for you on ServSafe.com. Of course, everybody who is inspected by the Department of Health has to have at this time at least one ServSafe or equivalent food protection manager who's completed a certification. There are a couple of other certifying organizations that are equivalent, but ServSafe is the most prevalent and the most recognized in the industry. So everyone at this time has to have one person per food establishment certified as a food protection manager. It's a certificate course. So you have to get a 75% plus or a minimum of 75% to pass the proctored exam after you take the course. The course can be taken in person. Some instructors teach it over a period of days. I've seen it taught over a period of weeks during some kind of a chef program, like at J. Sargent Reynolds. They teach it, they combine it with their curriculum and teach it over a period of weeks. But regardless of how you take it, whether it's online, you can take the course online, you have to have a proctor to take the exam. And you have to have a proctor in the room with you when you take the exam. So for right now, ServSafe has halted their paper exams through mid-June. So even if we had a course which I teach all in one day from 9 to 3, even if I were to teach the course in person, we could not do paper exams at this time. So what are the alternatives for you? If you need to have your ServSafe for either a new business, or you have to recertify in order to get your VDH inspection permit redone annually, you have to have that ServSafe up to date. Right now, I've been struggling as an instructor trying to find a venue where I could hold a class where people can socially distance. So that's an alternative, is to find a venue. And if anybody of you knows, please raise your hand, of a venue where we could, that's open right now, where we could socially distance ourselves during the all-day class and have Wi-Fi access. Let me know, because that's been a real struggle. The facility where I normally teach is a Goochland County facility, and they have been closed, and you can't teach. So you can have a class if you can socially distance, but you have to, at this point, do your exam online, but you have to have a proctor present in the room when you take that online exam. So if you want to go ahead and take the course online, you can do so on servsafe.com. It's the Food Protection Manager. Just make sure that you purchase the online manager course plus the exam, and you will get a voucher for the exam, and you would have to find a proctor. I'm happy to proctor your exam for you. I have been proctoring a few exams where we wear masks and we socially distance while we're in the room together. And that's a possibility. So you can take your exam online, and then, or your course online, and then we take the exam. The other alternative is just to wait. And I'm going to let Janelle Rogers weigh in on that, because I don't know if VDH has eased any restrictions on reissuing permits or issuing permits without that ServSafe certification at this time. So we'll let Janelle answer that question in a moment when she can speak to some other reopening guidelines. So these other resources that are available on here are the food handler course, which is very basic food safety. It's a 2-hour course. You can take it all online, and you get a food handler wallet sized little card that can be downloaded and printed out to place in a wallet. It's not a certification, although you do get that little certificate when you've completed it. It's when you take the exam at the end of the 2-hour video, it's just you don't pass or fail. You just take the exam. And it's very, very basic food safety. One person has to have the food protection manager, but if you wanted to have all of your staff take the food handler, I would highly recommend that. It's free right now on ServSafe until the end of May. So while your staff is out, I would ask that they do take this food handler course. They're going to learn basic food safety, which during COVID is mandatory that you have basic food safety knowledge. It does teach about washing your hands and about cleaning and sanitizing, a little bit about temperature control, but it is very basic, but it's free. Normally, I believe it's $20 or $25 on ServSafe.com. So take advantage of the free food handler course right now. You can also learn about ServSafe delivery precautions with a very, very short, maybe, I don't know, less than 15-minute video that talks specifically about delivering food. If your restaurant is using delivery right now, it's really an overview of what to really be careful with if you're specifically delivering food. And then there's takeout. There's a video on takeout also. And then there's some another video on reopening guidance, and there's 19 separate precautions that they encourage you to adhere to. And at the end of each of these free videos, you can print out a certificate that you can display, showing that you've taken the precautions needed to safely deliver or use takeout in your food establishment. So right now, I would love to be teaching ServSafe. Again, if you all have a facility where we could socially distance, what that would look like would be you would go online and either take the class online. It's about 6 hours, I believe, maybe a little bit longer. You have as much time as you need to go through that online class. You can stop and start when needed. You do have to purchase a book. The book really, really helps you a lot. There's questions, and you'll find that when you go back to your food establishment as a manager, the book is a great reference guide that you can go back to set up specific policies or standard operating procedures within your own facility. So it's a great reference guide. You can go ahead and take the class online and then contact me if you want to use me as a proctor. I'm happy to meet with you at your location and proctor your exam. You would have to have a laptop with Wi-Fi enabled, and we would have to wear masks, and I would wear gloves just to make sure that that's safe. So you're welcome to contact me if you would like to set up something like that, or just maybe need a little bit of review. Right now, I'm offering a free 15-minute review session if you're just not quite ready to take your exam and you want to review. I'm happy to do that on Zoom with you, just to, do my part and make sure that you feel confident and you're ready to take your exam. If you have never taken the ServSafe exam and you're fairly new to the industry, I would highly recommend that you do not do the course online. If you can possibly wait for the in-person class, I believe, well, I know because I see the test results, that it's very difficult to pass the first time if you don't have industry experience and you've never taken the exam before. During the online class, it's 6 hours and we review the whole entire book. It's a very, very fast review, but we do incorporate some learning activities that reinforce what you learn. Because not everybody will learn by just simply listening online or by listening to an instructor talking all day long. You have to break it up with activities that reinforce your learning. So I offer practical examples that help people kind of relate to specific things, and it helps them, sink into different parts of their brain. Also, prior to the exam, we do an activity that helps to bring back into the short-term memory some of the language that will be used on the exam. And I have to tell you, the exam is a little bit tricky. They do try to kind of flip words around, and you have to really, really pay attention to the way that things are worded. And the tests this week will look different from the tests next week. So they do change. That's why it has to be proctored. So if you don't pass the exam the first time, you do have to pay to take it over again. So in the interest of time and money, I would highly suggest, if you've never taken it before, to go ahead and wait for the in-person all-day review and to do it that way. If you've taken it before, then go ahead and you can just retake the exam, or if you need a refresher, every 5 years, ServSafe does change things up, because every couple years the FDA does revise the food code. So every 5 years you have to recertify. So if it's been 5 years and you don't keep up on some of the up-to-date FDA changes in the food code, you may want to go ahead and take the course over again. It may be helpful to do that. So you do have some options. So at this time, I'd like to open it up to some, I'm going to stop the share. And did I stop the share? Nope. Stop share. There we go. I'd like to open it up to some questions before we move on with our other guest, which is Janelle, to see if you have any questions that are specific to ServSafe that I can answer for you. Looks like everybody's good. Does anybody have any questions? You can unmute yourself and just ask a question. Go ahead and unmute yourself, Tony.
Tony, yep.
Okay, we were just wondering, as a winery, not as a restaurant, if the procedures for food handling, we don't handle a lot of food. We do some things, if it will be different.
It's, Janelle, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but safe food handling procedures are safe food handling procedures. So
right.
if you're regulated by the Department of Agriculture, at this time, they do not require you to have a ServSafe food protection manager. However, a lot of folks in your situation who are regulated by VDACs go ahead and take the food protection manager course, because it does help you develop standard operating procedures within your facility that will keep your food and your dry food and your cleaning and your handling of records and the whole management of the food establishment. It helps keep everybody safer.
Right. So we may have some wine club events where we do offer food to members, and we sell some pre-packaged foods. So I can see, even though it may not be a specific requirement for us, it still would be helpful to know those procedures.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And at the very least, Tony, I would definitely recommend that you go on ServSafe and take that food handler.
Right.
They call it a certificate program, but it's you just get a certificate. It's not a certificate program. You don't even pass or fail. You just take the exam and you get what you get. And then go ahead and take those, watch those other videos, and then you'll have a little certificate that you can print out saying that, at least you know how to safely do takeout or delivery. And I would seriously think about sending at least one person through the food protection manager course.
Okay, thank you.
I do have quite a lot of tenants in our kitchen that are regulated by the Department of Agriculture. And like I said, at this time, they don't require that you have ServSafe Food Protection Manager. But I've found that the ones that do take that program, their rate of success in their business is higher. I mean, they really they take things more seriously, and it raises the level of professionalism to a different level for those folks. I do recommend that you take it even if you're regulated by BDACs.
Excellent. It looks like, Mike, I think you're unmuted. Did you have questions, Mike Cavros?
All right, if you have any other questions, I see Penny Lane may be able to help us out with some space. So I will be talking to you later about that. Thank you.
Yeah, I was also going to suggest, Tony, since you're on here, Lisa, 53rd has an amazing pavilion with a lot of space. So,
okay.
I don't know, Tony, if that's something you guys want to think about too, but that's a good location too. So we have a couple of people that joined by phone. Before I mute you, I just want to make sure if you have any questions, there's a phone number 434-466-6619. Do you have any questions, or would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself, just name and location where you're from? Maybe they muted themselves. Another phone caller on a Moto G6. I can't see the number. Did you want to introduce yourself, or do you have any questions?
Oh, she's on mute. Well, how about if we go ahead and introduce Janelle. Janelle Rogers is a senior environmental health specialist with the Virginia Department of Health, the Chickahominy District, which covers Goochland, Hanover, and New Kent. She has a lot of years of experience and has been great to work with. I wanted to invite her specifically to help guide us in reopening safely. So take it away, Janelle.
Hi, everyone. So sorry, this is not our usual way of communication, so we have to be creative. But thank you for having me today. I think the biggest thing right now is getting and building a rapport with your health inspector to open up. We are moving right along with the governor, so I'm going to give you the information that you probably already heard or you may not have heard, but I'll give you what I have, and then we will try to work together to get the information that you need. Right now, the biggest thing that we want is employee health. So remember, we talked about all of these things that's coming up now. We talked about employee health. You probably got tired of us talking about employee health, hand washing, cleaning and sanitizing. And guess what? Here we are, and this is why we needed it. So we talked about employee health. I'm sure COVID-19 will be added to that list of things that we need to be asking our employees, making sure they're hand washing. So those are going to be your biggest things. Another thing probably is going to be signage and face covering. Those are things that we've never really, thought we had to do, was face covering. I'm doing pre-opening sometimes now. Now I'm talking in a whole inspection with a face mask on. So who would have thought? But that might be something that we're going to be moving towards. So we don't have actual clear direction as to what's going to happen. We're moving right with the governor. We're at that phase 1 right now for people to do outdoor seating. So that's our big project right now, is making sure that's done correctly, done safe. When it comes to, I think one of the questions was about the ServSafe. So none of the regulations changed during this process. I'm pretty sure it will be upped and reinforced that you need to have a ServSafe manager, and you need to probably go ahead and get everyone with some type of food handler education. On my end, I know this is Lisa's thing with ServSafe, but there are other tests, so I can't really speak on ServSafe. We have to say a certified food manager, whatever avenue you decide to take that from. So you just need to make sure that you are educating your staff, you are teaching and training. Everything that we give out, you need to get it to the hands of your staff. I made notes, just making sure I hit on everything. When it comes to pre-openings, we probably, like I said, I don't know how it's going to look, but we may have to do a pre-opening to every facility, because we've had some facilities that's been closed since March. So everyone closed their doors, they walked away, we don't know what we're going to walk into. Or we have people that we're just going to keep rolling, and I'll get to you when I get to you. So that's been our dilemma. Sorry. that's been our dilemma as to figuring out how we're going to do this. We do things in quarter. So a lot of people's permits that ended in March, we went on and just sent them a permit, and we've been in contact with all of our places. So I've still been in contact with a lot of my restaurants just to see what they're doing and how they're operating. And it also helps that it's not like we left you out there, like you figure it out. I want to let them know that I'm still here. I'm working with you. You call me if you need me, but we're going to work through this thing together so you can get your business open. That's the thing with me. I try to work with my staff and all of my operators so that it's not that we're not always regulatory. We want to build that rapport with you to know, I understand this is your business. This is how you run your family. And so I want to make sure that you do get open, but I want to make sure you do it safe.
So Janelle, at this time, are you recommending that owners or managers of food establishments take temperatures of any of their employees?
Yes, so we are highly recommending that you either take the temperatures or you have some type of active managerial control where you're saying, hey, make sure you take your temperature prior to coming to work, sign here to say that you have taken it, because that's going to be on them. You know, you just like that employee health policy that we always passed out. Make sure you don't have any of these symptoms. You don't have any of this. You signed this and you said that you will let me know. So if you want to have active managerial control where you're saying, listen, we'll let you do your self temperature, but you need to also make sure that you let me know that, yes, this is truly what you're doing. Or if the manager wants to go ahead and be responsible for taking it. I think the issue too was some people couldn't get their hands on a thermometer with the infrared ones. So that was the issue. So I think that's where and that's a whole nother thing where it comes with work policy. Like if you want to make that a policy, or if you're putting it in the responsibility of your staff members.
So one thing that we can do, because we have your email addresses, is send out these resources via email.
Yes.
I did see something come across my email this morning for the greater Richmond area for a free starter kit with personal protection to kind of get you started if you don't have some of this stuff already. I'm not really sure what's in the kit, but I will research that and send that out.
Lisa, I have a question about that you just mentioned. I mean, that Louisa's a little bit beyond that, what's typically the Richmond area. So how would we get those resources for the rural communities like Louisa or Goochland or?
I'll see what I can find out.
Okay.
Can I make a comment? Just something I learned this morning. This is Archer in Charlottesville. I talked to the health department this morning, and they said that there's a waiver on the BDH website for ServSafe or any kind of manager certification. And also there are a lot of resources on there too, like reopening and processes and all that. You just Google Virginia Department of Health and then go to Office of Environmental Health Services. And if you want to look at the waiver, that's under waivers at that website. So I just found that out. But I can't speak to it specifically because I don't know, I haven't read it yet.
Please. I'm sorry, Lisa, say that again.
So do you know anything about that waiver, Janelle?
I did not. I was not aware of that waiver. So I will look into that further. I know the information that should be on the website. Also, the inspectors, I know that's what we did in Chickahominy, is we send an email out to every last one of our facilities that had all those best practices, guidelines, and things to reopen. So I'll look into that waiver though.
Okay, and I know, Janelle, that you contacted me not too long after COVID hit as our commissary kitchen and asked me some specific questions over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
At the same type of kind of pre-inspection that you would do in person with one of these food establishments, or are you doing that by phone, or what kind of questions do you ask, that kind of thing, during one of these pre-inspections?
So when we are doing a pre-inspection probably will be, how are you training your staff on hand washing? Are you wearing face coverings? What is your procedure on if they are doing any dining? How often are you resetting and hand washing? Do you have any procedures on first in, first out? your cleaning and disinfectant. What is that process looking like now? Active manager control, are you going above and beyond? You know, you have a timer that says, you know, every time this timer goes off, you're hand washing, you're re-gloving. I wanted to speak on face coverings as well. So if you have face coverings for your staff, if you're offering them, or if they're required to bring their own, if it is cloth, make sure that it is washed daily. And of course, the disposable ones need to be disposed every day. So that's going to be like another money issue as to who's going to provide that. If you're going to keep buying those, or are you going to provide a cloth one and they need to wash it every day?
Okay, so again, would you do that over the phone, or would you actually physically go in and inspect?
So for existing facilities, right now, we're doing some of those questions over the phone. For a pre-opening, for like, because Goose will never stop. Like they're still out there building. So I'm actually physically going out there. I'm only meeting with 1 or 2 people at a time with a face covering on, and I'm doing a whole inspection to make sure that when we are up and running, that they're ready to roll. So that's in person.
Okay, so I see a question in the chat. So is it recommended that they do contact VDH prior to reopening for one of these pre-inspections?
So I will wait, just because we're trying to figure out what it's going to look like for us. I mean, that's like, I have 100 and something on my own caseload per person. So I think right now we're waiting because we don't know what phase 2 is going to look like. Like, I know the beach just is going to be open on Friday for recreational activity, but we don't know what phase 2 is going to look like. So I will hold off on contacting them yet, just because we don't have any idea until the governor actually says this is what phase 2 is going to be.
So for right now, we'll send out these resources so you can spend a little bit of time on the VDH website, on the website, and do some of these things to, you know, print out your signs, make sure you have plenty of personal protection equipment, get people certified, do what you need to do to prep in order to open, and then prior to reopening during phase 2, you can contact your health inspector for additional information. But there is a lot you can do now to kind of prep for that. And yes, I see another question on there. I will be sending out the information about the PPE kits and what geographical locations they cover. I'll get that out to you just a few minutes after we finish the call. Anything else, Janelle, that you can think of that would be helpful for folks that are thinking of reopening or planning to reopen during phase 1?
Cleaning and sanitizing. Minimizing the amount of, so even when we talk about condiments, like removing how we used to just being able to grab your salt and pepper shakers, probably removing all of that from the table, and we might go to single use. So I will say have a plan in place, whether we open all the way back up or if it's going to be minimized. Just be thinking about some things that you may go to single use so that you don't have to disinfect and wash all of these dishes, like to wash, rinse, and sanitize everything. So like I said, it's all new to all of us, so we don't know how it's going to look like, but I say just be prepared for both sides.
And what about, I heard that only disposable flatware is allowed.
I heard that from you, so I don't know. I haven't heard anything else about that just yet.
Okay. And a question also came up on the chat about how all this will affect churches.
From a food safety or from a service side, like going to attend church?
Tammy asked the question. I believe it has to do with food safety, since this is a food safety Zoom. But you know, they at this time do not have to be permitted. So is that something, do you think, that will change?
So as of right now, we're still not gathering. So I know the whole 50%, that kind of threw us off as well, because it's kind of like, what does that mean, you know? And how do you say 50% can't come into church, you know? So but
you got the A through M, N through Z next week.
So on the food side, it's still going to be that not gathering less than 10 people. If you want to offer, like if you want to offer food as a charity type of thing, is this just going to be a takeout and grab? Are we donating food? So it just depends. I think with that, if you have like, I can answer details questions later, or if you want to contact your local health department, wherever church we're talking about, that way I'm not telling you something that I will allow in Goochland that they won't allow in Chesterfield. We should all be on the same page, but as Lisa knows, I try to work with everyone and we try to figure this thing out.
Yeah, the VDH policies can be interpreted in different ways by different people. Yeah, there's that. Just gonna leave that there. All right, so facemask.com is where one person found some disposable masks at $1 a piece, no limit. I will include that in the resource link. That's pretty cheap. Have you actually used those face masks, and are they any good at $1 a piece?
Yeah, this is Lisa from Penny Lane. I actually got them delivered last week, and they're just like the regular blue kind of ones you can get at CVS.
Okay.
So they're good quality. And the, whatever it's called, where you can pinch it at the bridge of the nose. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's good to know. Anybody else have any resources that you've discovered that you'd like to share out with the group? You can type it in the chat and I will include it for everybody when I send out the email. Anybody else have any suggestions or questions or comments to either Janelle or myself? Or just any kind of general comment about reopening before we Zoom off? Anybody going once? Anybody going twice?
Well, I would just like to say thank you to both you and Janelle for your time sharing today. Lisa, Janelle, really appreciate it. We are going to have this recording. I will be sending out to everyone that did register that wasn't able to actually jump on here. So Lisa, if you can send me whatever resources and links, I'll put that into that message that goes out to everyone.
Okay.
And yeah, if there's nothing else, well, Lisa, why don't you go ahead and share your contact information with everyone? So if they do have questions, they can reach out to you afterwards, if you're open to that.
Okay, I'm going to type it in the chat session.
Perfect. It's not showing up yet, but I'll make sure that it goes out in the email to everybody. I do want to.
Oops, it's because I did it privately. All right, only Quillen got that. Let's see.
Oh, okay, Quillen, you're the lucky one who got Lisa's contact information.
Hang on a minute.
All right, yeah. I'll make sure to, there we go. So I'll make sure to include that in the email that goes out with this recording. Each of you will get this recording as well. So if you need to share it with anyone else that needs to hear the information, that's great. And it looks like there was another source shared. Zazzle.com has customizable cloth masks for $10.95. So, all right, with that, I think we're going to wrap up. I'm going to shut off the recording and let everybody have a great day and happy Memorial Day ahead of time. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.